going. That looks right. And I'm going to start by sharing my screen with you. And okay. And we're going to look. Wow, what's that doing down there? We're going to look at. I hope you can all see my screen and everything. We're going to look this week at some defense hands, especially those involving what to play when you're in third seat, when your partner leads a suit, how you should defend. So we've got a few examples coming up, and let's start with this one where South has opened one heart, North bids two diamonds, South rebids two no trump, and North goes to three no trump. If you're playing Acol, that bidding sequence, one of a suit followed by two no trump, typically shows a balanced hand with more than 12 to 14 points. Anyway, your partner's on lead and they lead the Jack of Spades. And down comes dummy, and you have a little look at that. Declarer calls for the Queen from dummy, and let's suppose you play the ace, and that wins the trick. And I've got the first poll of the evening. Looking at dummy and looking at your hand, the question is, what do you think you should lead at trick two? Are you going to lead a spade, a heart, a diamond, or a club? So have a little think. And here comes the first poll of the evening. And the question is, what should East play at trick two? Which suit? Look at the results. And we've got votes for everything there, but the most popular response is a spade, 43%, followed by a club, a heart, and surprisingly, two people voted for a diamond. I say surprisingly because the diamond, switching to a diamond doesn't seem to have much merit there. It's just helping declare a setup tricks in that suit here. When your partner leads a suit and you win it, I think I would generally say your first consideration is, should you continue that suit? And here, because your partner's led the Jack of Spades, that should be top of a sequence headed by the Jack. And although you can see the King in dummy, it's, I think, a good idea to continue the suit. You're continuing the suit here because you're hoping to knock out the King. And the other important thing that you have in your hand is you have the Ace of Diamonds. So your goal here is to prevent the diamond suit from running by taking your Ace of Diamonds at the right moment. But for that to be an effective strategy, you have to knock out the King of Spades anyway. So by playing another spade, you will knock out the King, and you'll hopefully set up tricks for your partner. And you'll also be able to prevent the diamond suit from running. So yes, my vote goes to continuing with another spade. If we play the 7, suppose your partner plays the 8. If Declarer lets them win that, they might play another spade, which Declarer wins. And now Declarer starts on the diamonds. And I hope that you can all see that you don't want to take your Ace of Diamonds here. You've knocked out all the entries to dummy outside of the diamond suit. And what you should be thinking about is holding up your Ace of Diamonds to cut off Declarer from there. Now, if we think about it, there were 5 diamonds in dummy and you had 3 in your hand. So there are 8 diamonds between the west and the south hand. So if you're playing with an experienced partner, you should be expecting them to give you a count signal on that first diamond. So I'm going to let that first one go and I'm going to watch what my partner plays. So if they play the 2, that's obviously their lowest diamond. And the way your partner gives count signals should be, if they started with an even number, they would play high, low. And if they started with with an odd number, they would start with a low card, playing low, then high. So if you think that signal of the two is accurate and your partner's not just playing their lowest card, that would tend to suggest that they started with three diamonds in the suit. And that would tend to suggest that South started with just two diamonds in the suit. So if you trust your partner to signal in this situation, which is a really important part of defense, if they now play another diamond, I know now that I can take my ace because declarer now has to play their last diamond and won't be able to cash any more diamonds in dummy. Now I've got in, I now want to switch to another suit. And yeah, this is a time that I think I would switch to a club. Dummy's weak suit, and also it's a suit that the opponents didn't bid. So I will switch to maybe the Jack of Club, top of a sequence. And I'll just bring up the four hands at this point. We can see that your partner has the ace, so they can win that one. They can cash the spade, and declarer now may well go down two tricks. If they play a club and you play your 10 there, that will force out the king. Now declarer can cash their four hearts, but if you keep the right card, in other words, the seven of clubs, you can actually hold declarer to seven tricks there. And by the way, if you were playing with a partner and you weren't sure that they knew how to signal or would remember to signal, then when the diamonds are played, I would duck twice. I would not risk it. I would let them win two diamonds, take the third, and then I'd be sure that they wouldn't be able to get to diamonds. But if you think your partner is able to signal correctly, then the best time I hope you can see to take your diamond is on the second trick. Okay, do let me know if you have any questions on that. And let's try another one. This time.
Sorry, a quick one, Tony.
Yeah.
If declarer had not taken that king of spades in that round,
yeah,
but took it the next round, then East wouldn't have had any spades to lead back.
Well, that's in fact what happened, right? They declared.
Oh, sorry, sorry.
This.
Sorry, I thought I'd taken the king. I must have missed that round. Sorry. Okay.
Declarer did well here because you're absolutely right. Declarer did well to duck that spade because now with your ace of diamonds, you can't lead.
So I think I missed that. Sorry.
But your partner, of course, has got the ace of clubs, so we'll get back in anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's have a look at this one where it's gone one no trump, three no trump, and this time you see a similar kind of dummy here, but what you see is that solid diamond suit. Let's think about this. Let's suppose they play the queen and you take that one with the ace. I've got the second pole of the evening, which is what do you think you should play this time? Okay, you've just won the first trick with the ace of spades. What suit do you think you should lead at trick 2? Have a look at the results. And this time the most popular response is a heart, 76%, and 22% went for a club. One person voted for a spade. And let's try and work this out. Dummy is a bit like dummy last time, but what's different is that dummy has got a solid diamond suit, and declarer is always going to be able to make 6 tricks in diamonds. So if you do what you did last time, you can force out the king of spades, but declarer will have no problem taking those diamonds. In fact, with that strong suit in dummy, this is a time to switch to a more active defense and try and take your suit tricks in another suit. And yes, I would go for a club or a heart. A heart would be my first choice here because my hearts are slightly stronger than my clubs. And what you're hoping for is a kind of layout where you can take some heart tricks before declarer gets a chance to take all those diamonds. So the right heart is the queen here. It's kind of top of a 2-card sequence here. But you're hoping that Declarer's got something like this and you'll be able to take a number of heart tricks. If Declarer had the ace of hearts, then there's really nothing you can do on this hand. They've got, the ace of hearts, all those diamonds, the spades, and the clubs. But your only hope to take any tricks here really is to switch to dummy's weak suit, and it happens to work out best here to switch to a heart. And if Declarer, whether or not they play the king, that king is now trapped, and now East-West will be able to take the first 5 tricks. After that, whatever is played, Declarer wins and has got bags of tricks there, and would definitely make 3-no trump with over tricks if you're not able to cash any tricks there in hearts, as it turns out. So this is one of the situations where you don't return your partner's suit because you can see that there's something better to do. All right, let's try this one. Here, your partner's led the Jack of Spades, and this is almost like the last hand, except the Queen of Diamonds is missing. But really, that diamond suit, you should be aware that that is going to run, because either South has got the Queen of Diamonds or West has it, in which case Declarer will finesse against it, or it might drop under the Ace King. But you can see that again is pretty much like the previous hand. It's pretty much a solid suit because you don't have the Queen of Diamonds. So you should do the same thing as last time, win that trick, and then probably switch to one of dummy's weak suits. And here, based on the bidding, I think I'd be more tempted to switch to a club rather than a heart, which is a suit that Declarer bid. So again, I'm hoping for some kind of layout like this where I can trap some honors here. The best club to lead here is the Jack of Clubs, higher than the highest club in dummy. And then if Declarer plays low, you'll retain the lead and you'll be able to carry on playing clubs. Eventually, you will trap the King of Clubs and be able to defeat the contract. Declarer will get in and we'll be able to claim the rest, but we'll go down 1 on that hand. So again, that was a situation where you win the first trick, and then realize you probably want to shift to another suit. Otherwise, Declarer will take all those diamonds. Let's have a look at this one. This was the one I think I sent out at the weekend, and here it's gone 1 diamond, 1 no trump, and your partner's on lead. And they lead the 4 of spades. A low spade is played from dummy, and you've got to figure out how to defend here. And I've got 2 parts to the next question. Which card are you going to play at trick 1? Which spade are you going to play? The ace, jack, the 10, or the 3? And if you win that first trick, which suit are you going to play at trick 2? So which card you're going to play at trick 1, and if you win that trick, which suit are you going to play at trick 2? Let's try that poll. You may need to scroll down to see the results, see both questions. Let's have a look at what we've got. So 2 most popular responses are the 10 followed by the jack for the first part. 3 people went for the ace. And for the second part, it's pretty much evenly divided between a club, a heart, and a spade. So let's have a look at that one. Let me switch to the right one. Okay, so first of all, when your partner leads a low card, that should normally show that they have at least 1 honor in the suit. That's probably their 4th highest, and they're leading away from an honor. and that honor is almost certain to be the queen here. So your job here is to, well, first of all, prevent the king from making a trick. So you should play not play the ace here because that will promote the king, but you should play the jack or the 10. And actually, there's only one correct card to play, and that's the 10. When you have two equal cards in third seat here, the jack and the 10, it's correct to play the 10. It's a mistake if you played the jack. It's not a big mistake, perhaps you may think, but it is a definite error. You should play the 10 here. And let's suppose the 10 is played and it holds the trick. So what's your strategy here? Well, it's a bit similar to an earlier hand where you can see that long diamond suit, and you've got the ace, and you're going to try and prevent that diamond suit from making tricks. But for that to be an effective strategy, you also have to make sure that declarer can't get to dummy in another suit. You've got the king of spades covered with your ace, but the other thing you need to do here is to try to knock out the ace of hearts. So the best play here is actually to switch to a heart. So that what you're trying to do, you're thinking ahead, you want to stop the diamonds from running, and you for that to be of any use, you have to knock out all the entries to dummy. So yes, I think there's a good case there to be made for switching to a heart. And what you're hoping is that it will force out the ace. So you're hoping for something like this, that here your partner's got the queen. So if declarer doesn't take it, your partner will hopefully, okay, here your partner actually switched back to a spade. They sort of realized what was going on there. You won the first trick with the 10, and you can win the next trick with the jack. You can take the next trick with the ace, and you then want to knock out the ace now that now that there are no entries to, so there are no more entries to dummy. Now, if declarer starts playing the diamonds, again, it's a good idea to duck. Let's bring up the four hands at this point. Your partner played the 6, and you perhaps weren't quite sure what that was. If you sort of analyze it, you can see that might be your partner's singleton, as it turns out, or it might be that they had, say, the 6 and the 3, a doubleton. So if they play another diamond, you'd probably let that one go. And of course, if they play a third diamond, you win that. And once you've done that, then of course you're going to probably switch back to hearts, which seemed to be a good suit to play earlier on. And you can actually play a spade, and your partner can take the queen. After that, of course, declarer will take the last 2 tricks, but you may hold declarer to as few as 5 tricks or maybe 6 tricks, depending exactly on how they play. If you're able to knock out the ace of hearts there. Any questions on that? I will just mention one thing. If we get to this situation where you've just won this, there is a case here for not leading a low heart, but actually leading the king of hearts. This may cost a trick in certain situations, but it's kind of guaranteed to force out the ace. Either they'll let you win the king, or if it loses to the ace, that's knocked that out. That play of a king is a special coup. It's sort of sometimes called a sacrifice coup, because in this particular layout, even if declarer has the queen here, leading the king will knock out the ace. If on this particular layout, it doesn't really matter because your partner's got the queen. But if declarer had it and you led a low heart, perhaps a normal heart, and declarer played the queen, then they would still have the entry with the ace. So a very advanced play, if you like, is to switch to the king of hearts there. Let's try this one. And This time the bidding has gone 1 heart, 2 diamonds by your partner, 4 hearts. And this was a hand that was actually played online a little while ago. And your partner leads the king of diamonds. The 10 is played from dummy. And I've got the next poll for you, which is, which card do you think East should play? Which card, which diamond, ace, 6, 5, or 4, do you think East should play here? Let's have a look at what you've put. You may not think there's much to this question. Majority have gone for the ace of diamonds, 53%. The rest of you have gone for something else. And you may think, well, it doesn't really matter here. Well, it's obvious your partner's got the king of diamonds, got the top of the sequence there. And it's also obvious from looking at dummy that you as defenders are only ever going to take 1 diamond trick. So having won the first diamond, you should be thinking, do I want my partner to retain the lead, or would I like to lead? And here you would probably be much better off to be leading. Why? Because you've got that sequence in clubs, the Jack 10 9, and you've got that weakness in clubs in dummy. It's always nice to lead into dummy's weakness, and it will help if you overtake if the layout is something like this. So here we take the overtake so that we can continue with a club. I hope you can see that if your partner is allowed to win the first trick with the king, then it's pretty disastrous for them to lead a club, because they'll be leading into dummies to declare a strength here as it happens. So much better for you to overtake it. You can see you're only ever going to make 1 diamond trick, and then you're going to lead a club. The jack of clubs is best. Here declarer happens to have the ace, so they go up with the ace, but your partner signals with the 8. And if you're paying attention, that probably means that they like that suit. That was a nice suit. They're happy you if you retain, if you get the lead again, they want you to lead another club. So if declarer, let's suppose declarer now draws trumps, and then, or they can ruff a diamond in dummy, and at some point they lead a spade, you should be aware of that you probably ought to be thinking about grabbing your ace here so that you can continue clubs. If you think back to the play of the first clubs, you led the jack, declarer took the ace, but your partner encouraged, so that probably means they've got the king. So if you hop up with your ace and then switch back to a club, then your partner can beat the king, return the club, and you can actually make 4 tricks there to defeat the contract. So if I just rewind that, you can see there it was quite important for you to overtake so that you can lead a club back. Also, you can see that if you don't take your if you leave your partner on lead, they don't really have anything good to lead. And if they lead, for example, a spade, then that helps declarer set up the spades, and eventually they'll be able to discard losers on the spades. Finally, let's have a look at this one. This is a 1 spade, 3 spade, 4 spade hand, and your partner leads the queen of diamonds, and down comes dummy, and there isn't a pole here, but you need to think about what to play on the queen. And what you know is that your partner's got a sequence headed by the queen, something like queen jack 10, and you also know that they don't have the king. You know that the declarer's got the king, and you also, because there are only ever 2 diamonds in dummy, you can see that your side is only ever going to make 1 trick. So this is another situation where instead of playing low and letting declarer win the trick with the king, you do much better to take your ace. You're not costing a trick here. You've only ever got only ever got one trick coming your way. And then you're in a position to switch to dummy's weak suit. And here, dummy's weak suit is clubs. And actually, the best card to lead here is the jack of clubs, higher than the highest club in dummy. And again, you're hoping for some kind of layout like this, where you can trap any honors that Clara has in the club suit. Note that if you don't take your clubs now, Declarer will, after drawing trumps, be able to cash 4 hearts and discard a number of clubs on that. So again, it's a good idea to play the jack of clubs here, higher than the highest card in dummy, so that if Declarer plays low, you're able to retain the lead and keep leading clubs, and that way you can trap the king of clubs. And again, played that way, Declarer will lose first 4 tricks. They'll draw trumps now, and then eventually they'll claim the rest, but should be down 1 if you find that defense. So those are all examples, if you like, of attacking dummy, looking at what's in dummy, thinking about whether to overtake and lead back a suit where Declarer is weak in dummy. We'll end the talk there. I hope you found that useful.